Welcome back to another business lesson with Christian and Pride Roofing and Construction. This is episode number 31. Today our tagline is, "Please mentor me, Elon Musk." And why the heck would we put that in the headline? What is mentorship? That's what we're going to dive into today. So one of my favorite books, it's really pivotal. I suggest it for anybody who's just somebody who wants to grow ultimately in any skill set that you have, any endeavor that you're taking on, is Mastery. It's written by Robert Greene. And the concept in that book, he's basically breaking down the 10,000 hours concept. I'm sure all of the viewers on here have heard that, read about it, maybe just thought about it. However, the common saying is if you want to master something, you got to spend 10,000 hours doing it, because at the point of 10,000 hours, it becomes a part of you. You no longer are studying it, you are evolving with it, and you are starting to change that particular craft or skill or whatever it is, right? In the book, and the reason I'm bringing this up, he talks about the importance of mentorship. And there's a very large section about the mentor-mentee importance, and he talks about it like this. The CEO of a Fortune 500 company that takes 50 years to scale the ladder, and he makes it to the 90th floor of the skyscraper, but it took him 50 years to conquer this empire. When he's about to leave, and when it's time for him to push out, enjoy his retirement in his last years, he takes on an apprentice. And the apprentice, however, doesn't take 50 years to scale the ladder and get to the top level of the skyscraper, right? The mentee, right, the apprentice, usually only takes 1, 2, 3, 5 years, whatever that course is, but that's a heck of a lot less than 50 years. And why is it that they can learn the same thing in 5 years that the old CEO learned in 50? And the importance of this mentor-mentee relationship is that there's a very large difference between knowledge and wisdom. You've probably heard it coined a lot of different ways, but knowledge is acquired through trial and error. Let's test something. If it works, let's evolve it. If it doesn't work, let's find something else, right? That's the scientific method all wrapped up into one, right? Wisdom, on the other hand, is learning from somebody else's trial and error, right? Being instructed. There's a relationship that you should have. If you want to be a great business owner, you want to be a great pianist, you want to be something great, whatever it is that you're aspiring to be, you need a teacher. And not only do you need a teacher, but you need to be coachable. You have to be open-minded enough to know that there is somebody better than you, and it would behoove you to learn from their suggestions, from their trial and error, from their knowledge they've acquired. Because if you don't, then it's going to be a very hard route. So let's boil this down a little bit. Let's talk about some excellent athletes and some excellent entrepreneurs, just to give a little validity to what I'm saying. Arnold Schwarzenegger. We've referenced him, everybody knows him, his quotes are amazing, but he's a Renaissance man. He's the best of the best in every category that you could think of. If he puts his mind to it, he does it. But the thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger is he never does it alone. At his peak in bodybuilding, he was Mr. Olympia 7 times. 6 times, valid. 7th time, maybe because he was already a movie star. That I'll never be able to dive into. That's a subject for another type of video. However, he was a 7-time Mr. Olympia. That means he was the strongest and most physically aesthetic human on the planet. 7 times, not in a row, but 7 times total. He had, at any given time during his training, except for when he was younger and he was learning the craft, but through his professional training, had 3 trainers at any given time. Why would the most physically fit, or at least physically, aesthetically fit person on the planet, and somebody who seemingly can just conquer the world because they decided to, have 3 trainers? And the reason is those 3 trainers, or 5 at whatever time it was, however many trainers he had at any given time during that chronological timeline, each one of them had their own specialty. They had their own area where they were the master of that individual craft. They spent those 10,000 hours trialing and erroring and finding the right ways and the wrong ways to do things. And they got the knowledge, and he absorbed it as wisdom, right? Michael Phelps. the most decorated swimmer on the planet. The dude can't even wear all of his gold medals, because if he did, it would sink him. Even though he's a fish, it would sink him in the water, right? Michael Phelps, at any given time during his Olympic training, would have about 7 different coaches, each one with a specialty. They teach him about reducing his drag. They teach him about positioning his hips. They teach him about better ways to swivel. They teach him about everything that he didn't already understand. He had a coach for it. And not only did he have the coach, he listened to the coach and he applied the concepts, and he toiled and he tried and he dedicated his time in repetition, and he became the most decorated athlete to ever grace the Olympic stage. These people, right, they understand this concept. They've spent their 10,000 hours, but they did it smarter than the average person did, because they took that information and they applied it, and they didn't have to trial and error it, because if they did, they would have missed their peak. You can do this to yourself in business. If you take too long to understand that you need to have people for guidance, you'll lose your opportunity to peak in business. You'll lose your opportunity to grow consistently. You will maintain a very steady, low heartbeat as an organization, right? And let's talk a little bit of my experiences as an owner within Pride Roofing and construction. Owning a business, so let's stick to that mindset for a little bit. As business owners, it can be lonely at certain times. And the reason it can be lonely is because there are certain things that you just don't do. The people you surround yourself with, you can't have exorbitantly, powerful or long-lasting relationships in a lot of ways personally. You can't always talk about your the things that are rolling around inside of your head. You can't talk about the things that you're struggling with all the time. If you do with the wrong person, it can be detrimental inside your organization, because it causes those people to listen less to the vision that you're casting. So you have to be really smart about what you say, but at the same time, what I'm trying to get to is it's lonely occasionally as a business owner. What I'm encouraging every person to do is to reach out to somebody who's been there. Reach out to somebody who's been there and did it better, and let's use them as our soundboard. When we need to understand something that we've been toiling and trying, and our own efforts and our own trial and error just does not cut it, ask them what they would do. Ask them their perspective. Use them as a soundboard. Find the mentor that suits whatever it is that you're trying to do. Dive into that and learn from their experiences, so that you can get past every one of those hiccups and do it with extreme efficiency. Do you want to spend 50 years scaling the ladder, or do you want to do it in 5 years? Right? Mastery can be fast. It takes mentorship and it takes coachability. So that's all I got for you today. It's a little bit of a superficial view on the topic. We can really dive into this a little bit more if you'd want us to. I encourage you to do some self-analysis. I encourage you to read some books. Pick up Robert Greene's Mastery. It is powerful information. And let's start to apply this stuff. Let's get better every single day. Please like and subscribe, engage in the content, ask some questions, share this with some friends. If you think it's applicable to someone you know that's struggling, send it off to them. I hope I get some direct messages. I hope I get some questions. But for now, that's it. I'll catch you on the flip side.